host, Crystal Joy. Man, I tell you what, every time I look up, there's always somebody else that has a 10 times more powerful story than the last one I heard, and they're true. I thank God so much for the stories that I hear and they're so encouraging. Now, have you ever been in a situation where you end up suffering through some things and it's not even your fault? And you're like, okay, God, what's up with that? Why are sometimes people are born in situations that they have no control over? But I'm telling you today, I am going to share with you a powerful woman who literally exudes overcomer. Y'all, you're going to enjoy this. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share. You need to share this. So anybody that's whining about anything, you need to share this with them because this is going to be a powerful interview. Folks, let me introduce you to an extraordinary woman of God. Please welcome my dear friend, Jacqueline Williams. How are you doing, sweetheart?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing just fantastic because I get a kick out of the fact that I get to talk to you. Oh, boy, I don't think everybody's ready for it.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Whew, I'm not really sure where to start. I know that your story, when you shared it with me, it was overwhelming, but I want to hear from you. Let's just start with here. Where are you from?
I'm from Blue Mountain, Mississippi.
Wow. I've never even heard of Blue Mountain, Mississippi. And I'm sure those who are from Blue Mountain, Mississippi are probably upset about that. But did you grow up there or were you just born there?
I grew up, I was born and I was raised in Ripley, Mississippi.
And I've heard of that. I've heard of Ripley. Okay. Do you have any siblings?
I have two brothers.
Two brothers. Are they older or younger than you?
They're younger. I'm the oldest.
Wow. So that's a lot. That is a lot. Okay. We'll find out what a lot is in about 2 seconds. Please tell us what is it that inspired you to write the book Overcomer?
Well, actually, I didn't have any intention of writing a book. So how this book came together was one day me and my typing teacher was on the phone and we were talking. And she said, you know what, Jackie, you ought to put your life story in a book. And I said, me? I was like, whoa, that's way over my head. But I didn't tell her that. I just said, yes, ma'am. And when I got off the phone with her and later on down the road, you know how I was just hearing, write a book, whether it was on TV, the radio, the internet, or somewhere, write a book. And I was saying, Lord, I don't know how to write a book. And so I went on and I thought maybe, he had forgot about it. So, but he brought it back up, write a book. And I said, Lord, I don't know how to write a book. But I had to change my words and I had to change my mindset. And I had to say I could do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And when I said that, that's when God and the Holy Ghost came in and helped me get the information and everything that I needed to format this book.
Awesome. Wonderful. And I know everybody's curious about what in the world is this book about being an overcomer, because we hear a lot of stories about being an overcomer. But tell us what happened years and years ago, before you were born. Okay, there was something in the medical industry or in the pharmaceutical industry, I would say, that did not turn out to be the best bet for your parents and for you. What exactly happened?
Well, between the years of 1950 and 1960, it was a drug that was put on the market. It came from a pharmacy company in Europe, and they market this drug in 46 countries. Wow. But in the United States, the FDA did not approve of it. So this drug, you could get it over the counter. and it was for morning sickness for pregnant women that had real bad, severe bad, morning sickness, and you could get it over the counter without any prescription. And so,
Now that I
how
didn't
these
know. That I did not know. I did know that it existed because my mom said something about it when I was in my teens or what have you, and how it was not what everybody thought it would be. But the fact that you get it over the counter, that's a little scary. But anyway, continue, continue.
So how it became to come into the United States, it was this man by the name of Richard Morel. He also had a pharmacy in Europe. I mean, in Europe, and so he decided to send 2.5 million pills to the American doctors and clinics. So that's how it got into the United States. And they were saying at first that it wasn't any thalidomide babies in the United States because the drug was marketed, but it in the 50s, between the 50s and 60s, and they took it off the market by 1961. It was taken off the market. So that's why they were saying, it wasn't any, thalidomide babies in the United States. But by this man sending those pills over there to clinics and, and doctor's offices, yes, it was samples. He sent samples of them. And so this drug caused 10 million babies to die shortly after birth. And
10 million?
10 million. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God.
And after that, this drug, and those that survived this drug, those babies that did get to live, they had no arms, no ears, no eyes, no private parts. It damaged their internal organs. They had no limbs, no nothing like that. And so when I was born, my mom became pregnant and she had a very bad case of morning sickness. So she went to a women's clinic and they prescribed to her thalidomide. And when she took it, when I was born on January the 1st, 1968. And when I was born, my feet was turned backwards. And my mom had to lay me on like a scooter because of my legs and my feet was so fragile and my feet was turned backwards. So my parents took me from doctors to doctors, which told them I wouldn't live to reach an adulthood or even walk. I would never walk. So I spent most of my childhood in the hospital. When I became to the age of going to school, I really didn't go to school because of the number of surgeries I had to have. I had 24 major surgeries. So the hospital was my home away from the home. I had to stay in this hospital called Le Bonheur. My parents took me to Le Bonheur, and that was hope there. God gave those doctors wisdom to turn my feet around. But I still had a long journey to walk on my own. After that, I had to go back and forth to the hospital. I mostly just stayed in the hospital. I stayed at the Le Bonheur Children's Hospital was a hospital. It was a pediatric hospital.
Was it also in Mississippi or?
No, it was in Memphis, Tennessee. This Le Bonheur is in Memphis, Tennessee, and it's a hospital for pediatric chronic diseases for children that had those kind of illnesses. And it was a place where they did the surgery. But I had to also stay at a hospital called Crippled Children's Hospital. It was a boarding school. And this hospital was for children that parents lived far away. They had to come back and forth, and they could leave their children there. They left their children there, and they didn't have to pay anything. So I was one of those children that had to stay there
Man, I got a
because,
question. I got a question on that. It's already scary. And I mean, that's wonderful that parents are able to, leave their children there and they get the kind of care that they need. But how did you handle not being around your parents and being around these strangers, basically? I mean, you build relationships over time, but being around these strangers and you don't get a chance to see your family on a regular basis. How did you handle that?
well, I'm going to tell you this. My mom, she didn't want me, so she left me with my father. She didn't
Whoa.
want me, so she left me with my father. My father continued to take me to my doctor's office, appointments and everything, and schedule surgeries. But then later on, the gas prices started hitting his pocket, so he had to leave me there. And amongst doctors and nurses, strangers, and the other kids that were there, but they took very good care of us. They took care of us. They would get us up in the morning times and push our beds and wheelchairs in the dining hall. We would eat breakfast. We would have oatmeal and toast and eggs and bacon, and then they would put us back into our wheelchairs and beds and push us into this big old place that looked like the replica of the White House. And that's where we went to school. God blessed me to get my schooling there because he knew that I wasn't going to be able to go to school, So he blessed me where I would get my schooling there. So they took very good care of us. But so to speed it on up, I had my last surgery when I was in the 6th grade, and I was kind of able to. I went from a scooter, crutches, braces, wheelchair, and walker. Out of all those 24 major surgeries, I had to, learn how to walk again over and over and over. But the last surgery was in the 6th grade, in which I still had to walk on braces and crutches. But after I got to the 7th grade, that's when the doctors released me from the crutches and braces. So I began to live with my father. My father began to be a good father until he became an alcoholic, and he began to beat me every day. So I had to deal with that. He beat me every day, and that was something. But God, God, for a while I had to stay with my grandmother, but she got sick with cancer, so I had to go back to my father, and he was staying with this lady that had 7 kids, and so they moved in together, and that's when the abuse really, got worse, because at first me and him was staying in an apartment together, and he would leave me by myself with the TV on, with the lights off, and he would go and do what he's gonna do, and I would talk to God. I'm about 6 years old, maybe 5 or 6, and I'm talking to God, and or if he didn't leave me by myself, he would leave me with strangers, and they would put me upstairs, and they do what they doing downstairs, and I would talk to God. And I will feel how you could feel like a presence, something, somebody was there protecting you and covering you. He was protecting me all the time, letting me know, I got you. But I don't want to tell all my story in my book, but everything is in my book about that. But my abuse and rejection and, all that is in there, that I had to go through. And I had to go through it because that was a part of God's story that he was writing for me to walk through,
Mm.
And so I had to grow up. I had to grow up real fast. I had to grow up on my own, and God would place people in my life, to show me how to cook or tell me things about personally about my body and everything, about me personally. And then I was looking for love in all the wrong places because I did not experience love. I didn't know what it was. So I started getting, I was hurt, because of all this, but I didn't have any unforgiveness in my heart. I didn't blame nobody, but I was hurt. And so what I said I was going to do, I was just going to mind block everything. And I was going to, I had all these bleeding wounds and a hurt heart. So I'm going to put on a bandage over these bleeding wounds and jump into these relationships. Relationships that I thought would heal me and make me better and I could move forward. But these the patterns of my of the abuse from my father fell into these relationships. These relationship with these guys I dated, they either abused me physically, mentally, however they took advantage of me, manipulated me, and even friends that I met, they would reject me or take advantage of me. I had to go through all of that, to get where I am now. And so how I got over this past, how I had to get over this, I had to one day I heard the voice of the Lord. And he said, Jackie, nobody can love you like I can. And when he said that, because that's what I was looking for. When he said that, I let everybody go. I said, okay, Lord, you say nobody can love me like you can. Then I'm going to try you out. So I tried them out, and I let go of everything and everybody. But still, after that, I didn't really know how to love myself. I didn't know how to love God still after even he said that. And so God had to kind of deal with me, to get me, I had to go through some more stuff in order for him to get my attention, to let me know that he really do love me. Nobody didn't love me. I was continuing trying to fill those empty voids, And so when I came with the end of everything, I decided, I had to bury my past. I had to bury my past. I mean, put the dirt on it. Put it in the ground, put the dirt on it, cover it up. And I had to ask God to give me the strength to walk away from it. And then I said, Lord, it's me, oh Lord. I don't blame nobody. I said, I'm the one that needs deliverance. I surrender myself, because so many times we deliver the problems, we deliver the situation, but we don't deliver us to him. And that's what he wants, because the situation, the problem, he already got that. He wants us. He got the situation under control, but he wants us. We can be the problem. We give him the problem that we so upset about and so concerned and worried about, but we are the problem. He wants us to surrender us. So I had to surrender myself to God in order for him to deliver me and give me that inner healing. God sometimes can take us out of the problem. He can take us from the situation. He can take us from the people. And after he take us from that part, we still have the injury. It's just like being in a car accident. You survived the car accident, but you still have to deal with the injuries, the hurt. you know. And
Mhm.
so I was still hurt after he took me out of it. So
Mhm.
he had to uh heal me, inner healing, you
Mhm.
know, a healing that nobody, nothing can take the place of it.
Mhm.
Sex, drugs, nothing, none of that. It
Mhm.
takes God. And that's what he had to do me. He had to do a whole new makeover on me. So that's how I got over that and became an overcomer.
I
Even
love
though I
it.
survived it, I had to
Mm.
overcome it.
You know what? I think that it's more than just survived it. I think you're thriving. You're definitely thriving. But I'm curious about one question. Um, was there any time in there where you just said, you know what? Forget this. God, apparently you care about everybody else except me.
No, I didn't think of it like that because all through I was going through it, it was like I was riding on his strength all the time. He was strengthening me all the time. You know, even when I was in the hospital, that was a place of isolation. He was preparing me then, you know, through that, through the surgeries, through all of that, he was preparing me for who I was in him right now. He was preparing me, building me up, strengthening me. You know, we have to go through things and we don't understand it. You know, I never did complain. I just went through it because I just went through it. It's hard to explain it when, you know, all I can say, I was riding on his strength. And he was there, and his presence was there, and he was just carrying me through it.
I love it. I love it. Where are your siblings now?
Um,
Are you still in
they live
contact
in
with them?
No, I'm not in contact with any of my family.
Mhm. Mhm. So you're still moving forward with just you and Jesus.
Yes.
And she's smiling, y'all.
And I gave my life to him. But I got a son, but that's in
Uh-huh.
my book too. And I had to go through with a lot with him. You know,
Mhm.
the enemy was the enemy tried to kill me from the womb on out of the womb. He was trying because he knew who I was. When he know
Mhm.
who you are, you're a threat
Mhm.
to the kingdom.
Mhm.
You are.
You better preach. You better preach. I love it. Well, I want everybody to get the book because just the portion that you have shared with us today and the things that I read when you contacted me to be on the show, I said I got to talk to her. I got to hear what, and I know that my listeners need to hear from you as well. How can we get in contact with you? If anybody, I'm sure, will want to hear your story and be a part of whatever event they have, or to talk to some of the young people or what have you, or even some women who are dealing with a lot of different things. How can we get in contact with you?
Well, you can contact me on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
Watchman Marie. You can contact me on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
Watchman Marie, and also on YouTube, Watchman Marie. Or even if you want to email me, you can email me at jw967431 at gmail.com. And I will send you my the way you can get my book,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
link to. I didn't send you that, so I will send you that as well.
Okay, is it also available on Amazon or on your website?
Yes, it's available on Amazon. Overcomer by
Awesome.
Jacqueline Williams.
Yes, 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 absolutely. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Jacqueline, you are a breath of fresh air. At no time whatsoever did some people reach a point where they're just crying and weeping before God. You didn't say any of that, which is so rewarding to me that you made a decision that, you know what, it's not them, it's a walk that I have to take. And I have accepted it because I've accepted the Lord. How old were you when you gave your life to the Lord?
I was 23 years old, and I
Mm,
gave my life to him. And he began to tell me who I was in Ezekiel 33. He told me I was a watchman. And he said, I've made you a watchman. I've called you as Jeremiah in Jeremiah 1 and 5. He said, before I knew you, before you was in the womb, I knew you. So
Mhm.
he called me as a prophet watchman.
Mhm.
And people that don't know what a watchman is as to they watches after the people, whatever God lay on their heart to intercede for, whether it's people, a nation, a place. And a watchman, when everybody sleep, the watchman is up. So yes.
I love it. Oh my goodness, you are an extraordinary example of what it means to persevere in regardless of circumstances from birth. Okay? From birth. God bless you, Jacqueline. And I look forward to everything that God has placed for you in your journey from this day forward. You are absolutely a gift in the kingdom. You are God's masterpiece. I also say that in my book as well. And I know you definitely are. You guys, thank you so much for joining me today with my dear friend Jacqueline. Jacqueline, thank you for coming on. Thank you
Thank you
for
for
reaching out
having
to
me.
me. Oh, you're so welcome. You are such a blessing, and you guys are such a blessing as well. Thank you so much for joining. Take joy on your journey. Hey, we've got many more that we're going to share with you who have the determination to keep moving and recognizing that no matter what, regardless of what's going on at any point in time in your life, you got to make up your mind to take joy on your journey. Hey, I'll see you next time. I'm your host, Crystal Joy. We'll see you then, and God bless.